War is raging, government is stealing our freedom, food processing plants are burning, and gun sales are through the roof. You're in the right place. This is The Prepared Mind.
Screw your freedom.
Oh, screw your freedom, says Arnold Schwarzenegger. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Thursday afternoon, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're here Monday through Friday every day, just like this. And you can be here live if you do this. Premium, uncensored, prepper content. You have two choices. Two choices that are premium choices. You got the preparedmind.club, and then you got subscribestar.com right there. And follow the bouncing ball. Anyways, you guys have been supporting me. It keeps the lights on, the tuna fish, the spam, and the scotch in the pantry. And I'll tell you what, it keeps the it keeps the pews well prepared. Tell you what, get your questions down in the comments section. If you're on X Live, click on the video, should open up a a comment window, because your questions matter every bit as much as mine, because it's not what John thinks. It's what we all think. It's not just my opinion. It's your guys' opinion. It's not just my topic. It's your topics. It's your show. You guys are the ones who make this happen. Let me tell you what, if nobody showed up, if nobody was supporting the channel, shit, I would just go sit out under a shade tree, drink some scotch, and wait for the missiles to fly. But I'm here because you guys want it. So wait, hold the presses. Breaking news alert. And I cued the intro. Big shot attorney, and he is a big shot, and he is an attorney, Mike Davis. He went on the Steve Bannon show today and said, quote, "Justice is definitely coming." Does he mean Buford T. Justice from Smokey and the Bandit? Because I ain't seen justice since I've seen Smokey and the fucking Bandit. So Mike Davis spent some time, had a meeting with Attorney General, do nothing, shit on people, and fucking lie to Tom Fitton. No, wait, lie to us? Anyways, Attorney General Pam Bondi and other top Department of Justice officials. Mike Davis met with Pam Bondi. What a lucky guy. Oh, wait. No, Pam Bondi has lied, misled, failed, and been an overall media whore. She will lie to another attorney, Mike Davis, just as easily as she lied to 200 million law and order and Trump supporting Americans. The other 350 million Americans, they don't support Trump, nor do they support law and order. Now, prove me wrong, Pammy. Arrest Hillary. Arrest Nancy. Arrest Schiff. Arrest anyone named Obama. Arrest the CIA's Brennan. Arrest just any top-level Democrat politician scumbag. Just make an arrest. Prove me wrong. So Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch served the Attorney General's office, the Department of Justice, with a Freedom of Information Act request saying, where the fuck are the Epstein documents? Do you have them? Who has them? Give them to us. And you know what the response was? You're going to fucking love this. You ready for this shit? They don't have any documents. They don't have any documents on Jeffrey Epstein. How the fuck is that even possible? Fuck, I have Epstein documents. Ooman has Epstein. We all have some, and she's got none. A convicted pedophile who was arrested again for child trafficking, sex trafficking, probably prostitution, blackmail, extortion, dies in prison. His partner, Jizzy Maxwell, gets arrested, prosecuted, found guilty, sentenced, imprisoned, and all of their clients, we just don't fucking know a thing. Pam Bondi is a liar. Prove me wrong. Start making arrests. Prove me wrong. And I will eat my words. I will write them on a piece of paper. Pam Bondi is a liar, and I will eat them. I got no problem doing it, folks. I'll eat my fucking words. I want arrests. Until then, she's a fucking liar. Because that's what she did. She said, you'll have them next week. Day one. I'm just redacting some names. And then fucking crickets for months. Now, let's move on if we shall. In Europe, their political leadership is rejecting the proposal from Donald Trump and the United States Department of State. The proposal is that, well, Russia owns Crimea. Well, these European leaders are rejecting it. Who cares what the fuck they say? Crimea, even though for a short while was controlled by Ukraine, right? The last 10 years has been controlled by Russia. And before the more recent control of Crimea by Ukraine, it was a Russian territory / province. At least 300 fucking years. Folks, the Russian fucking empire is huge. The Russian empire used to include all of Alaska, portions of Canada, and the west coast of the United States down to the San Francisco Bay Area. And we're supposed to believe that way back over in Ukraine, this far from current Russia, Crimea, oh, no, there's no way that could be Russian. No. Whereas, fuck the U.S. Europe is full of fucking retards. And speaking of retards, I'm in a great mood today, folks. I didn't get kicked in the nuts all day. Just half the day. Speaking of retards, the retarded eyelash whore, a.k.a. Representative Jasmine Crockett, she challenged President Trump to take an IQ test against her. I tell you what, that is something I would support. Make it pay-per-view, and I'll pay. I'll throw a fucking house party. Everyone is invited to the Prepared Bunker to watch basically an elderly man stomp a ghetto whore on the IQ test. Now, Jasmine Crockett did attend some private schools. That doesn't make her smart. It certainly doesn't mean she's got a high IQ. All she has demonstrated she is a race hustler. Much like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, right? They're a bunch of race hustlers. I mean, can you imagine that's your deal? I make money because I accuse everyone else of being a racist. Crazy business, folks, but probably the number one thing in the day that has gotten my attention is the judicial tyranny, the judicial treason, the judicial insurrection. And it grows. There's no end to it. No end to it at all. A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to reach out into El Salvador and return not the Maryland father, but another criminal, illegal alien that is being held in, what is that thing called? CCOT? Is that what it's called down there, Uman? CCOT? That almost sounds like a fucking holiday paradise. They need a cooler name like San Alcatraz. They need a cool fucking name like that. What's that other prison that's in the San Francisco Bay Area? Had a friend that used to work there. San Quentin, right? Seacott Quentin. Anyways, yeah, they need a better name. But yeah, another judge says, you're going to send us another, send our criminals back to us, right? And guess what the judge does? The judge refers to the ruling of the MS-13 gangster Abrigo Garcia. That was her ruling. Well, this other judge says send back the Maryland father, who's not a Maryland father. He's actually an El Salvadorian MS-13 gangster who was already told to leave the fucking country, I think, in 2019. This is judicial tyranny. A court using a shit decision by another federal incompetent court is no precedent. If the first court order is a clear violation of not just intelligence, but also procedure and law, how can you use incompetency as a fucking precedent? What a demo whore she is, this judge. Now understand this. Trump, he fucked him up, right? They said, anyone who's sent out of the country by the Department of Homeland Security must be returned. So guess what Trump did? He said it wasn't the Department of Homeland Security. All these people are being shipped out. It's under the DOD because it's the Alien Enemies Act. Department of Defense, not the Department of Homeland Security. I guess if you have extra constitutional rights as a non-U.S. person who is here in this country illegally, committing crimes, or you are already a fucking criminal, yeah, that's not a DHS issue. That's a Department of Defense, alien enemies, get them the fuck out. And that's it. That should remove. But that won't stop the courts, folks. Oh, no. No. Trump is, going around them. He is going around them. But judicial treason has gone wild. And I think the word unconstitutional to describe what these judges are doing is an understatement. Now, another judge, this one, an Obama shit-stain judge, is interfering with Trump policies and is blocking the Trump administration from blocking funds to go to sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities. So a city says, we don't care if you're a criminal. We're not going to arrest you. We're not going to throw you out. We're not going to turn you over to other government authorities. In other words, a state says, fuck you to the federal government. Okay, fine. Right? Fine. States' rights. How come nothing else counts in states' rights? The 10th Amendment is states' rights, folks. The 10th Amendment is also the people's rights, and the people have a right to be protected from criminals. That's exactly what government is about. It's supposed to protect us and secure our rights and protect us from criminals and protect us from invasion. In both cases, the Democrats are doing the exact fucking opposite. Now, to the point of blocking funds from sanctuary cities, federal funds are a privilege. I think we covered this yesterday a little bit. It's a privilege. Just like you driving is a privilege that the state can take any time it wants, and you have no fucking recourse. It's a privilege. No, I have a right to travel. Oh, no, says the state. You've got to get a license to travel. You have to have an identification card. You know what? Actually, you don't. In the law, all you have to do is identify yourself. Why do you need a piece of paper that the state has? Anyways, fuck it. That's a whole nother fight in a whole nother country at this point. Now, privileges. Federal funds are a privilege, and privileges come with rules to be followed. Hey, you want to be in an automobile? You need a driver's license, right? You have to follow the rules to get the privilege, right? Here's another example. I can't get free money that illegals get because I'm not an illegal. So why won't these judges send me a check, right? Why can't I have the same privilege? Don't we have the same right to all the same privileges? Oh, no. Some privileges for some privileges for others. See, they're fucking hypocrites. They're liars. They're traitors. They're scum. Oh, I just want to be a freeloader like the government judges who are sucking off the tit of the taxpayer. I just want free money. That's all. Right? No, see, that's just it. Sanctuary cities aren't playing by the rules, so their privileges are revoked. You have no right to government's money, which is our money, in fact. It's unbelievable what's going on. Are you guys prepared for where this is leading? Literally. Are you prepared for where this is leading? You need food. You need water. You need shelter. You need clothing. You need medicine. You need a means of self-defense. You need a plan. Are you prepared? Let me tell you about some more judicial treason. You know, they tell you, well, if you've broken the law or if you've been accused of breaking the law, don't resist the police. Allow them to arrest you, punch you in the stomach, plant drugs on you, punch you in the fucking face, throw you in jail, aim a fire hose at you, soak you down, take all of your money, your jewels, your watch, your credit, take everything from fuck you, because a judge will give you a fair hearing. Do you believe that for a fucking second? Only if you're an illegal. Hell, if you're an illegal, Chief Justice John Roberts is concerned about your due process. But if you've been invited into the Capitol building and you peaceably walk around, you can be arrested, be charged with a misdemeanor trespassing, which gets upgraded to a fucking felony. They'll throw your ass in jail without an arraignment, hold you without bail, deny habeas corpus. Fuck you. Years later, you might get a trial where you're railroaded, and Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, John Roberts, couldn't give a flying fuck at a rolling donut over your case. Couldn't care less. But he'll look out for a tatted up, drug-using, murderous sack of shit from another country. Fuck you, John Roberts. Now, more judges. The judicial treason grows. A filthy, smelly, nasty, old, corrupt Clinton judge. This old bitch has partially blocked Trump's election integrity executive order, which included, folks, the proof of citizenship in order to vote. So now the judges set the standards. They set political policy. I think it's time to remove judges with military policemen. That's who I think they should do it with. They should remove these fucking judges with military policemen because, look, Congress won't live up to their obligation, their constitutional duty to remove corrupt judges. So I think that we should declare a national emergency within the judicial system. I think Trump can do this. Declare a national emergency. Fuck FDR. Democrat FDR declared a national emergency and ordered all Americans to turn their gold in for paper money, never to be redeemed in gold, well, at least until 1974. They can declare a national emergency and tell everyone to stay in their fucking homes. That was illegal, by the way. I think at this point, look, we're either going to have a republic or what? Are we going to have a strong republic or are we going to have a fucking banana republic? Right? We're coming down to the end of this. We now have a final chance for the Supreme Court of the United States to obey, to behave in the constitutional term. The term behave as defined in the United States Constitution. They're allowed to serve in times of good behavior. Would you characterize judicial behavior as good currently? So we now have the final chance for the Supreme Court of the United States to behave. Or I think they should be suspended under a national emergency. Please pick one. President Trump is taking his transgender military ban, the fight, to the Supreme Court. Now, military readiness and military policy, right, is governed by the president. It's a presidential prerogative. He is the commander-in-chief of the United States Armed Forces. Those who are mentally incompetent or have a mental disorder or a mental disease, they have no right to serve in a position of national defense because they're incompetent or what? Mental disordered. They have no right. It is a privilege. So these mental people, these problems, these transgender retards, they can go serve coffee at Starbucks. That's what they should be doing. But this is what we're coming down to, in my opinion. Either we have a strong constitutional republic or we have a banana republic. And if the Supreme Court doesn't rule in favor of the Constitution, then it's time to declare a national emergency and remove all judges. Portions of the Constitution have always come under attack in times of national emergency. The Civil War, the War of 1812, the Vietnam War. It's coming to that, folks. It's coming to those kind of times. I tell you, these judges are fucked. In fact, one judge down in Louisiana has been suspended for misconduct. You heard me right. The Louisiana Supreme Court, unlike the United States Supreme Court, has decided to suspend a judge for misconduct. Unlike the United States Supreme Court, which hasn't done anything to any of the judges for all of their fucking misconduct. Chief Justice John Roberts is a traitor. He's compromised. He's being blackmailed. He's being extorted. He's part of a group of judges, and this is a fact, that gather and are interfering, and you know the judges' names, like Ketanji Brown Jackson, Judge Bo Asberg. I would be surprised if they weren't on this little meeting panel, Chutkin and Ergadon. Anyways, this Judge Ebony Johnson Rose, is suspended for misconduct. 2-month suspension. That's it. Misconduct. Judicial misconduct. I guess you suspended as a judge for misconduct. Ignorance is no excuse ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, geez, Your Honor, I didn't see the speed limit sign, and I thought everything was fine. And then I got pulled over. Well, the speed limit was posted at 55. Well, I didn't see the sign. Ignorance is no excuse. Bam, fine. Any crime, you stand in front of a judge and say, I didn't know. Ignorance is no excuse. Well, except for judges. And punishment for judges shouldn't be a 2-month suspension for misconduct. The punishment for all judges should be 10 times that of anyone else. They know better. They're so fucking smart. They know better and should never, ever, ever, ever fuck up. But they do. And they're protected by their own special little club. And if you think regular judges get special treatment, DEI judges, well, named Ebony, or maybe Attorney General's name Leticia, they get off just basically scot-free. Now Letitia James is being accused of being a fucking slumlord with property she has in New York, folks. Paint is peeling. Places are a fucking wreck. They're full of bed bugs. That's Letitia James for you. What a great gal, huh? What a great attorney general. Fucking everyone over. It's coming close to your time. Your questions, your comments down below. Down below, folks. We've got a lot coming. We do. We have a lot coming. But first, there will be no free press in communist America. If the Democrats have their way, you'll be arrested on the spot. But for now, let me give you an example of what they're doing now without communist tyranny in your fucking face. Thank you, man. That sounds like a nice description. Police detectives show up at a journalist's house, an undercover journalist at his house. This undercover journalist works for James O'Keefe, former guy from Project Veritas, right? So the cops show up at this undercover journalist's house and intimidate them. Why are cops intimidating a detective? I'm sorry. Why are cops, detectives, intimidating an investigative reporter? Well, because he did an expose on State Farm. A State Farm vice president did an expose. How about that? They exposed somebody doing rotten shit. So back the blue, or they will beat you. Black and blue. Isn't that right? Isn't that how this works? You back the blue, man. You stand behind us. We're the only thing protecting you. In an emergency, ain't nobody fucking protecting me. I remember that. Top story, 2020. Summer of Love. Hello, police. Yes, I'd like to report a bunch of miscreants committing massive amounts of felonies, damaging public and private property, impeding traffic, and being extra ugly. What do you mean there's no police available? What do you mean there's no sheriff's department? We're on our own? Well, that was what happened. Yep, that's what happened. Back in 2020, we were told you're on your own. So when they say, back the blue or who else is going to protect you, nobody is here to protect me. Well, at least in California. Florida's a little different. I'm doing okay here, but still. Back the blue or they'll beat you, black and blue. We're one step closer to tyranny, folks. One step closer. We're one step closer also to the dead redcoat moment. We're one step closer. These swattings? Nope. Red flag laws? People don't want to go see a judge, folks. I used to believe, look, you arrest me, I'm going to say, bring me to a magistrate right now. I have a right to a quick and speedy trial. Take me to a magistrate. I'm going to be arraigned, and I want to fucking hold my trial right now. You don't get to arrest me, then go search for evidence. Now, call for a magistrate, and the judge will just fucking throw you in the gulag. Don't feel like being arrested today. I'm not a criminal, folks. But hell, neither were the people who were invited into the Capitol by the police. They weren't criminal, but they were criminally charged. Not with misdemeanor trespassing, but they upgraded a misdemeanor somehow to a fucking felony. They were pardoned by the president. The jails wouldn't let them go. The police wouldn't let them go. the judges wouldn't let them go. No cop, no judge were arrested for holding these January 6 prisoners without a crime, denying them their rights, cruel and unusual punishment, no due process. But these fucking judges want to protect MS-13 members. That is the country we are living in. Are you prepared to see what happens next? All righty. It is Thursday. It is April 24th. The shit has hit the fan, and it continues to hit the fan. Everyone who thought, yeah, we voted in Trump, it's done. Stick a fork in it. I'm going to crack me a Miller Lite, not a Bud Light, a Miller Lite, and I'm going to sit back and watch the Democrats burn. Well, I guess that old burning part isn't happening. Okay, Mr. Uman, hey, what do you want to talk about today? What's out there? And we got Chin Music. And he has a little bit of wisdom for us. Judges are, I agree with you, a prime example of the wide gulf between being wise and being educated. Now, a gulf is a distance that is not easily surmountable. Kind of like the Gulf of America. You can't swim from Florida to Mexico across the Gulf because it's a fucking gulf. Right? I've described for years the widening gulf between Democrats and Republicans, Democrats and conservatives, Democrats and patriots. It used to be, yeah, you could kind of talk to them, get some stuff done, but now this chasm is gulf, is like two cliffs, and there's no jumping or swinging. Even just shouting at them with a bullhorn on the other side, trying to get them to listen and fucking be intelligent. It's not happening. So being wise and being educated. What is education? Well, education used to be what school was. Kindergarten, grade school, high school, university. Education. You would go there and learn valuable information that you apply in a wise and intelligent fashion. Being wise has nothing to do with being educated. Because while being educated, you can just as quickly be indoctrinated as you can be provided knowledge. Wisdom is a completely different subject, folks. Wisdom. Wisdom is the proper application of intelligent thought and information. And these judges, federal judges, state judges, Supreme Court judges, what are we seeing? We have a Supreme Court of the United States of America judge, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. That dumb see you next Tuesday, that moronic lady, that DEI moron extraordinaire could not answer a single fucking question that was put to her with respect to gender. Can you define a woman? What's a woman? That's the question. What is a woman? Can you define a woman? Can you tell us what a woman is? And a justice of the Supreme Court as a nominee could not answer that. That's how fucking stupid she is. That is a judge. That was a prime example of someone who is not wise. And I doubt that she, as a diversity, equity, and inclusion nominee, isn't even well educated. Sotomayor. Amy Comey Brown is another example of someone who's been well educated and has zero wisdom. Chief Justice John Roberts of the Supreme Court. He has, well, how do we put this? Selective wisdom. but it's not even wisdom. Selectively applied education, when he says to a foreign criminal element that has been returned to their country of origin, we want them sent back to America because I'm concerned about due process. You see, coming into America is where due process is supposed to start. You come in and you go through the process of becoming an American citizen. You get a green card or a travel visa, and then you apply and make sure you're legally here. Your visas are updated. If you're being educated, if it's a work visa, ultimately you take tests, prove that you're a knowledgeable citizen. You understand the Constitution enough to pass the test. American history, basics. But if you show up illegally, you violate our laws. You have no rights as an American, and you have no due process. Due process should have started at the border. They ignored due process, so they get none. Catch my drift? That's what I'm saying. All righty. Thank you, Mr. Chin, for pointing out in yet another new and exciting way. These fucking judges are morons. They're not to be revered, looked up to. I don't even think they should be obeyed. Fuck them. If they won't obey simple words, then they shouldn't be obeyed. Village Idiot says they are educated beyond their intelligence. You know, here's what a judge does. They sit in the chair, higher than everyone else because they're the judge. They got a little wooden hammer, and they wear a black dress. And attorneys for both sides, the plaintiff and the defendant, provide their briefs, right? Their case. What's your petition, right? The plaintiff, the petitioner, what do you got? Defense, what do you got? And the judge is supposed to read them. Ah, that's what you're trying to say. I get it. Okay. Oh, this is what you're saying over here. Ah, I get it. Oh, okay. Well, the one that's full of shit gets thrown the fuck out. But instead it becomes a political question. No longer does it have to do with wisdom or law. It has to do with politics. It's all politicized. Intelligence, village idiot, it's out. I think any village idiot could serve better as an attorney, as a judge or an attorney, than these educated morons who are just indoctrinated left-wing fools. Anyways, great. Good stuff. Mr. Uman, who's up next? And it's Heidi with H12. She says, hey, education is what to do and how to do it. Wisdom is knowing when, why, and whether to do something. I think that is really a superb layman's example. And you see, that's just it. You and I, Heidi and Uman and all of us, we're just laymen. In other words, we're normal and we use common sense. Education is what to do and how to do it. It's process. It's procedure. It's policy. Right? It should be uniform. Easy to practice. Lawyers practice law. They use their education to practice law. But wisdom is knowing how to apply a law, a statute, a rule, an ordinance. And also understanding when it does and does not apply, and why it does or does not apply, and to whom it does or does not apply. All communists should be hanging from the end of a rope. They are godless souls occupying human bodies, causing nothing but fucking misery for humanity for 200 years now. Fuck them all. I just had to throw that in. Judge John says, all right. This is good, clean fun as we sharpen our sticks. and get ready for SHTF to come marching down the street. What the hey? Heidi's back again. Lots of college students having fits over having to pay their loans back starting May 25th. This is wonderful news. What an awesome, wonderful time. What a terrific way to educate them about how a loan works. You get a loan, which is borrowing currency, and you purchase something for it for which you were given the loan, and you receive something for that, and then you go to work and pay that fucking loan back. This is called a learning moment. A learning moment. Brilliant. These students don't like that. You shouldn't go to a university and pay $25 or $50 or $75,000 a year to get a degree which will secure a job making $50,000 a year, living in a city or a state where you're only going to make, $50,000 a year, and it costs you $45,000 to live there. You'll never pay it back. At $5,000 a year paying it back because it's a 4-year degree, or maybe it took you 5 or even 6 years because you're a fucking imbecile. Yeah, I've heard of people, folks, in their fucking 40s, their 50s, and even their 60s still making payments on their student loans. Education doesn't pay, folks, but crime does. Crime pays. Crime pays. Get elected to public office. Commit misconduct. All you'll do is get suspended with pay. Right? Violate the law. Who cares? It only applies to Trump and other Republicans like Uman or me. Right? Shake down people for donations. Shake down people for campaign contributions. Be sure and fund programs that send money offshore that gets sent back to you. By the way, what's that thing called? Check Blue? Check Blue, the way to Bluebird, Blue, Check Blue. A fucking thing where people can donate to the Democrat Party through this slush fund. The blue seal of blowing a seal. I can't remember what it's called. The Department of Government Efficiency, and Uman is getting that. Department of Government Efficiency, check blue. Anyways, it's just been an annoying thing in the side, a thorn. The Department of Government Efficiency has found that the Democrat slush fund that has money coming from all over the world, people just miraculously donating money that they didn't have, that came from credit cards that weren't theirs. But they're essentially stealing people's identity. Act blue. Act blue. Thank you, Uman. The next one I was going to say was Little Boy Blue. He needed the money. But yeah, act blue. Doge is demonstrated now that, guess what? They are committing a crime. They're laundering money. They're stealing people's identity in order to do this vicious circle. Guess what? Pam Bondi won't do a fucking thing. Hang that on the wall. Sign my name under it. John says. Put $1 in a coffee can until someone gets prosecuted at Act Blue. It's making my fucking head hurt, these people. Because by time someone gets arrested for it, you'll probably have a lot of dollars in there. A lot of dollars. I tell you, man, I tell you. Okay, Uman, let's do it. Let's have some more fun. Who's up next? And we have Uman. He says, I saw a survey that found, quote, most Americans favor bringing back the Maryland father. He's not a Maryland father. That's a misnomer. The fucking mainstream media is getting berated in the White House press room for continuing to call him a Maryland father, misleading the people, lying about his status, who he is. Most Most Americans, says Uman. I wonder how they lied by structure to phrase that question. And if the people they surveyed were all at Tesla protests. Yeah. Yeah. Man on the street protests in Times Square or at a Tesla dealership or at a DNC headquarters. They probably phrased the question like this. A father from the state of Maryland was arrested by Trump. And without a trial, he was sent down to El Salvador, another country. Do you think that we should bring him back and give him a hearing in a court? Well, of course. I mean, that's, I'm sure, how they worded the fucking question. I think they left out the fact that he belongs to a gang that rapes children, boys and girls, sells women as sex slaves, traffics drugs into America, commits violent acts against people, extorts money from people, steals property from people, cars. I'm sure they left that part out where the Maryland father isn't from Maryland and commits all of those types of crimes. To be an MS-13 member, don't you have to kill a family member, your own family? And here we have the Maryland father, an MS-13 member, who more than likely murdered a family member to join that gang and prove his loyalty and his fealty, his submission to their rules. Yeah, I really feel sorry for this fuckstick. But yeah, the average American doesn't know any of this. You, my friends, know a lot. You're not just well educated, you're applying wisdom to your knowledge, right? Makes you wise. All right, thank you, Mr. Uman, for that. Lied by structure. You phrase a question and then you use it to make a statistical report. Crazy business. Crazy business. All right, Uman, who's up next? What do we got? And we've got Madara Uchiha. My mom, who is a religious fanatic, according to Madara, says the beginning of the apocalypse will be when a Freemason becomes the Pope. I didn't even have to see the word Pope. My mom, a religious fanatic, says the beginning of the apocalypse will begin when a Freemason becomes Pope. Well, we've had several Jesuits as Pope. Jesuits have been Freemasons, and Freemasons have been Jesuits. But currently, I think the Catholic Church doesn't like Freemasonry again. I think that's how that goes. Popes have been communists, I think, since Pope John Paul II. I think every fucking pope has been a communist. Fuck. Jesuits are communists. Freemasons, like, I don't know, George Washington, Paul Revere, Sam Adams, Patrick Henry, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, John Paul Jones. How many do we have to fucking name? They like freedom, individual liberty, personal rights, limited government, restricted government. They like property rights, real estate rights, business rights, rights to your money, your life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. How do those Freemasons who wanted all of that have any fucking thing to do with being a communist or a pope in the church, which has repeatedly over time not been the best fucking organization to deal with? The two are kind of non sequitur. But the apocalypse, the beginning of the apocalypse, that's pretty funny stuff. I think the apocalypse happens every single year, doesn't it, Uman? Every year the apocalypse starts. And then for some reason, it just hasn't finished up yet. I mean, Uman says, I thought it was supposed to be the last pope because there are no more holes left in the wall to stick them in. Right. This is in the crypts, correct? The crypt, the catacombs where the is serving as the homes of the dead popes. Yeah, they can't make up their mind. We've got a lot of interesting prophecies out there. I'm the prophet of prepping, but only as a teacher, not as a prognosticator of future events. Any prognostication coming from me isn't from divine providence as much as it is from applying wisdom to the knowledge you and I have gained, looking at what's happened, comparing it to the past, seeing how we're heading there again. It's you don't have to be a genius. You just have to open your eyes and think. In any event, bring on the apocalypse. Bring on the Jesus character. I would love to see that. The Antichrist, right? They're trying to say that the vice president, with his knife hand as a Marine, J.D. Vance, killed the Pope. A lot of these religious, wacko, fanatical Democrats say the same thing. Cult of death. I really like that term that we've kind of coined here and used. Democrats are the cult of death. Can anyone deny that? Cult of death. Abortion. Sterilization is death. That's what they do to all these children with their puberty blockers. And then their transgender drugs. It causes sterilization, which is death. Right? Death. Bringing in Transaguera and MS-13 and Mexican drug cartels. What do they sell? What do they traffic in? Death. Prostitution is the destruction of lives. Murder. Death. Drugs like fentanyl destroy the mind and the body and the spirit, and that's death. That's death. Cult of death. All right, man, let's move on if we shall. We're under the 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes left in the show. And Robin G says, I always say about demon rats, they are either galactically stupid or they're evil rotten. I love the phrase galactically stupid. That phrase, that line was also used in the movie A Few Good Men. It was used by Lieutenant Caffrey to describe Lieutenant Gallagher, who was played by Demi Moore, when she kept pushing like an idiotic moron. He called her galactically stupid. It was fucking hilarious. Now, when it comes to Democrats, demon rats, in my opinion, Robin, I think they are both. I believe they are evil and rotten. Their souls are rotten. They swim in filth. Their souls do. And that they are galactically stupid, failing to execute and use wisdom and be honest. See, they wouldn't be stupid, in my opinion, Robin, if they were honest. But see, when you're evil and rotten, you cannot be honest. So they can't legitimately and honestly examine facts and apply them in such a way, because it would bring them to the same conclusion that you and I come to. MS-13, get out of the country. American citizen, you get due process. We don't throw you in jail for 2, 3, 4 fucking years without charging you with a crime, right? So the fact that they are dishonest puts them in a position where they have to accept the moniker of being galactically stupid. That's not really a name, but a moniker name, but shit, it's certainly an applicable adjective. All right, let's move on if we shall. Mr. Uman, who's up next? And by the way, my detox program's continuing to pay dividends. Redneck Roughneck checks in. He says, Trump has made an ultimate trolling he has for sale on his website, a Trump 2028 red hat. That is brilliant. That's brilliant, man. I didn't know that. I know that China is selling the fuck out of shirts and hats that say boycott China. Or at least they're reporting that they're selling that. I think that's fucking hilarious. But yes, I need to get one now. I need to get a Trump 2028 hat. It needs to say Dictator Trump. Trump for Dictator 2028. Just to troll them. Can you imagine the terror and fear and anger and frustration and madness roiling up in their fucking eyes? You know, all of these fucking freaks, their eyes get huge, like AOC. She gets those big, stupid fucking eyes. Adam Schiff, big, stupid fucking eyes. Totally, completely indicative of someone who is on SSRIs and other, shall we say, psychotics or antipsychotics, which actually make them fucking psychotic. That is beautiful. Redneck Roughneck, that made my fucking evening. Thank you. Thank you so much. Man, what have we got rolling on out there now? And I want one of those hats. I want one that says Trump Dictator. I'm going to go order one custom. Someone's got to make a custom hat that, you know, it costs less than $20. All right, Diving Frog says, hey, I see where Katy Perry. Now, how dare you? How dare you? That's my little Gretchen, the climate Grinch. How dare you? How dare you call Katy Perry Katy Perry? She is astronaut Katy Perry. So I see where astronaut Katy Perry had to cancel some of her shows after taking a ride on the Bezos boner. Gold, Jerry, that's gold. It seems her fans are abandoning her. Good. I agree. All of these people in entertainment, media, music as well, they're fucking morons. They're fucking morons. A confidant, close friend of mine is in Vegas right now. I hate Vegas. I fucking hate Vegas. But he's in Vegas right now. And he went to, I look like Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. And he sat down next to a Taylor Swift wax creation, put his arm around it. And our other friend took a picture of him. And I was like, dude, did you check to see if it's got a dick? And he said, yeah, it's big, dude. You should be scared. Anyways, yeah. Katy Perry, I think she's done. Taylor Swift, I think will swiftly go away. Right? I remember when there was this other young lady who was extremely popular. I thought this little this little girl is going to be popular forever. Thank you, man. And then it turned out that her parents decided to take all of her money and control her and deny her everything. Right. And then she kind of went nuts and lost her shit and said some stupid stuff. She got pregnant, had a kid. I guess they took her daughter from her. Britney Spears. She looked like Little Miss Cute All-American Girl. You go away fast in entertainment, Hollywood, media, music industry, New York. If you don't do as you're told, right, you will obey, or they'll take your privileges. I think Trump needs to revoke the privilege of the judiciary to rule because they've violated the terms of their oath and their office. In any event, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. This has been another star-spangled example of why we need to be here at the Prepared Mind channel. I hope you are fully prepared. Godspeed. God bless America. Semper Fi. And I'll see you guys 0 dark 30. Until then, folks, get prepared. It's coming. If you don't see it, you're that same person standing on the train tracks and you hear a whoop whoop. And you go, what was that? I know that you guys do recognize it, and you'll get the hell out of the way and get prepared for it to come.